How one woman rebuilt her life, cup by cup. The inspiring journey of Rubina Bibi. Have you ever been so heartbroken over something that you fell down and lost all hope? Well, this story of a brave woman named Rubina Bibi might just restore that hope. Get ready to be inspired by her amazing journey. True strength often brews in silence. Fear can boil in your heart, but only courage boils the water. Sometimes the biggest victories begin with a single cup of tea. A humble life before the storm. In a lively old neighborhood where narrow lanes twisted like threads and the air always carried the smell of spices, everyone knew Rubina Bibi for one thing: her unforgettable chai. The spiced fragrance of her tea floated through doorways and courtyards, drawing neighbors in like a warm embrace. Life wasn't a fairy tale, but it was cozy. Rubina married at 22 to a kind-hearted man who ran a small motorcycle repair shop. Their love story wasn't written in grand gestures, but in shared smiles over chipped cups and late-night talks under the star-studded sky. They raised 3 wonderful children in a cracked house that may have looked simple to outsiders, but to them it was full of laughter and love. Rubina's days began before dawn. She swept the small courtyard, cooked bread on the clay stove, and packed lunches for her children while her husband prepared for his day at the shop. The rhythm of their lives was as familiar as the call to prayer drifting across the rooftops. In the evenings, as the sun set and the call to prayer drifted across the rooftops, the family gathered to sip her famous chai and share stories. They didn't have much, but they had enough, and they had each other. A night of irreversible change. Then came the night when everything changed. Without warning, Rubina's husband died of a sudden heart attack at just 39 years old. Grief swept through the little house like a cold storm. In one night she went from wife to widow, from homemaker to the sole breadwinner of a family of 4. Neighbors gathered outside the door, whispering their doubts she must move in with her brother. How will she feed 3 children alone? Even distant relatives quietly suggested that she remarry for security, but Rubina refused to be moved like a piece on someone else's board. She stayed, she grieved, and as the first light of dawn touched the sky, she stood up. Courage at dawn. That very morning, still heavy with sorrow, Rubina rose before sunrise. She lit the clay stove and brewed her strong, spiced chai, the very blend everyone loved. She poured the hot tea into an old metal thermos and wrapped a scarf tightly around her head. With trembling hands and eyes swollen from crying, she stepped out of her house and walked to the busy bus stop nearby. There, she began offering tea for 5 rupees a cup. Some men stared in surprise. Some laughed quietly. Some sneered, saying she had fallen from grace. But a few accepted the steaming cups. And the next day they returned for more. Rubina's chai wasn't just a drink, it was a moment of solace, a shared memory of comfort. Each cup brought a new story, a new connection. And with each interaction, Rubina found a new purpose. Brick by brick, cup by cup. The following week, Rubina bought plastic cups so she could serve more customers. Within a month, she set up a tiny wooden table and added warm parathas to her menu. Every morning she rose long before the first bus rumbled by, her heart aching but her resolve strong-willed. She ignored judgmental glances, ignored exhaustion, and kept brewing, serving, smiling. As the years rolled on, Rubina's small stall became a cherished part of the neighborhood. Travelers who sipped her chai felt a moment of calm in their rush. Working people started their day with its comforting warmth. Students gathered there after school, sharing dreams and ambitions over steamy cups. Every cup of chai she served was a silent promise to her children, a pledge to build a life from the fragments of her grief. Every rupee she earned was proof that she and her children would survive. A business and a legacy. Years passed like steady seasons. Rubina's little stand became a beloved roadside cafe. Travelers stopped for her tea. Neighbors came for her quiet wisdom. People began calling her Chai Wali, the tea lady, but now the name carried respect, not pity. Her daughter Nasim grew up to become a teacher, guiding other children toward education. Her eldest son Asif became an electrician, helping bring light to homes that once sat in darkness, and her youngest, Yusuf, now manages the cafe with a proud smile. What began with a single cup and a flicker of courage had become a thriving family business and a center of community life. Recognized, yet always humble. One afternoon, a journalist visited her bustling cafe to share her story with the world. "Weren't you afraid?" he asked softly. Rubina smiled, her eyes carrying both memory and quiet victory. "Of course I was. But fear doesn't boil water. I had 3 mouths to feed. Giving up was never an option." Those few words said everything. Courage, ice and tea, the absence of fear, choosing action despite fear, the power of grit and quiet empowerment. Rubina's life was never about sudden miracles. It was about grit, her quiet, determined courage to rise before dawn, tie her scarf, and face another day. Every cup of chai she sold was a step of empowerment. Every satisfied customer was a quiet victory. Every smile from her children was a reason to keep going. Through small daily choices, she built dignity and stability, proving that empowerment is not a single event but a series of steady, faithful acts. Lessons from Rubina's journey. Rubina's story offers truths as warm and steady as the tea she brews. Strength isn't always loud or famous. It can be a woman who refuses to give up when life collapses overnight. Grit creates opportunity. With patience and courage, Rubina turned a single thermos of tea into a thriving cafe and a secure future. Empowerment is built cup by cup. Each small victory each day she chose to work instead of surrender added up to something extraordinary. Fear can be the beginning of action. Real bravery is not the absence of fear but the decision to act anyway. Moral of the story. Life isn't a fairy tale where princesses wait for princes. It's a canvas where each day is a new stroke. Some strokes are bold, some are subtle, but together they paint a masterpiece called life. Rubina's story reminds us that a positive mind does not deny reality, it reshapes it. Her success didn't come from luck or loud declarations. It came from early mornings, strong-willed persistence, and love for her children. Her message to the world is simple yet unforgettable. Strength isn't for glory, strength is for life. Fear doesn't boil water, action does. Today Rubina's chai is more than a cafe, it is a living testament to courage, where every cup carries the taste of perseverance and love. If Rubina's story has stirred your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Let her journey remind you every day that real courage often begins quietly with one small step, one steady choice, and maybe one humble cup of tea. And if you liked the story, don't forget to show your support. Thank you for watching.